Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to our ultimate masterclass on one of the most critical, high-stakes hurdles in the Cambridge curriculum. We are talking specifically about the Arabic 9680 syllabus, Paper 4, Section 1, passage-based questions. Now, I don't care if you're just aiming for a solid passing grade right now, or if you are pushing relentlessly for that clean A star, you absolutely cannot ignore this section. It's a foundational pillar of the syllabus, and it appears in every single examination series without fail. It's truly the ultimate test of your language comprehension, your structural logic, and your analytical skills under extreme time pressure. Today, we're going to completely demystify exactly how to tackle it, build out your structural frameworks, and secure those top-tier mark bands.
If we were to put on our senior examiner hats for a second, the core truth is this. Mastering this specific section is the absolute non-negotiable key to your overall exam success. Listen, as examiners, we aren't just scanning your paper for loose translations or basic summaries of the Arabic text. We're looking for a highly strategic, deep, and methodological understanding of complex passages. Throughout this explainer, I'm taking you right behind the curtain. We're going to look at exactly what examiners are actively searching for on their grading grids, pulling advanced insights straight from official Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. By the time we're done, you're going to walk into that exam room completely empowered. But first, let's just address the elephant in the room and validate a very real struggle. Why do so many incredibly smart students find interpreting these complex Arabic texts so incredibly hard? It's a massive roadblock. I see two types of scholars all the time. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Alex is a type of student who overloads paragraphs with raw, factual definitions, but completely fails to provide the deep analysis the rubric demands. Then you have Sam. Sam is a blazing fast writer who constructs highly persuasive arguments, but completely misses the explicit restrictions set by the question's command words. Both students get penalized. You're under extreme pressure, the vocabulary is advanced, and the questions are densely layered. It feels like decoding a puzzle where half the pieces are missing. It's completely normal to feel overwhelmed, but that's exactly why we're here. We're breaking this down into a totally manageable, predictable blueprint. Here is our strategic progression for today's session. First, the core principles. Second, the technical methodology. Third, critical analysis. And finally, top examiner warnings. Let's get right to it. Section 1, core principles. What do examiners want? According to the syllabus rubrics, top-performing students don't just memorize definitions. They exhibit a connected, conceptual understanding that transfers seamlessly to totally unfamiliar texts. To do that, you have to hit three very distinct cognitive domains, or assessment objectives. Imagine this donut chart as your actual mark yield meter. We have knowledge and understanding as the base, analysis in the middle, and evaluation at the absolute top. To secure those high-level marks, successful candidates must demonstrate competence across all three of these slices. You can't just show that you understand the Arabic text. You have to break it apart, analyze its components, and then evaluate its broader implications. If your answer, like our hypothetical student Alex, is super heavy on foundational knowledge but skips evaluation entirely, your final mark is instantly capped on the examiner's grid. You need the whole donut to get the A star. To successfully hit all three of those cognitive domains, you've got to build the theoretical architecture of your answers on three pillars: precision, causation, and integration. First, precision. This means using highly accurate Arabic terminology rather than vague, sweeping descriptions. Next is causation. You need to explicitly identify the cause and effect relationships operating within the passage. And most importantly, integration. The principal examiner reports continually highlight a fascinating trend. Candidates who can connect the dots and reference cross-topic connections, meaning they link the ideas in the passage to other broader areas of the syllabus, achieve significantly higher marks. You must show the examiner that you don't just see the sentence in front of you, but you see the entire interconnected picture. Moving right along to Section 2, the technical methodology. How do we do it? So we know the high-level concepts examiners want, but how do you actually execute that when the clock is ticking down and the pressure is on? The answer is a rigid, non-negotiable 5-step procedural framework. Step 1. Deconstruct the question and execute a visual data scan to extract the relevant key data. Step 2. Select and apply the relevant analytical principles. This is where you decode Cambridge command words. If the command word is analyze, do not just explain. Misinterpreting a command word triggers an immediate marking penalty. Step 3. Execute your analysis, laying out clear, logical steps. Step 4. Verify your results. Does your logical path actually answer the core command word? And Step 5. Present your final answer using correct terminology. If you follow this exact sequence relentlessly, you completely remove all the guesswork from the exam. Now, deeply embedded within that 5-step framework is a secret weapon that you absolutely must utilize. It's called the method mark strategy. This is crucial for Paper 4. Cambridge examiners are literally instructed to award marks simply for showing your working process. Listen to that carefully because it's a game changer. You get marks for the process itself, even if your final, absolute conclusion totally misses the mark. By clearly annotating the text, laying out your logical steps, paragraph by paragraph, and showing exactly how you arrived at your thoughts, you are passively scooping up method marks. The examiner can see the analytical gears turning in your head, and the rubric strictly rewards that transparency. Never, ever hide your reasoning on the page.
Section 3. Critical Analysis. Securing the top bands.
This right here is the battleground. This is where we separate average, middle-tier answers from the true elite. Frequently, a passage-based question is going to ask you for comparative analysis. The vast majority of students simply stop at finding similarities, but elite's top band analysis strictly requires identifying similarities and differences. And furthermore, you can't just list them passively like a grocery list. You must explicitly use comparative connectives in your Arabic writing. You need to anchor your arguments. Think of the Peel framework: point, evidence, explain, link. Support every single comparison with direct, quoted evidence from the passage, explain the context, and finally, build a flexible link back to draw a sophisticated conclusion about their relative importance. That is how you engineer a flawless, top-tier response block. When you are extracting that evidence from the passage to use in your Peel structure, you also need to interrogate the quality of the evidence itself. To hit the highest evaluation marks on the meter, you need to identify any limitations within the source text. What assumptions is the author actively making? Are there alternative interpretations of the data or the narrative provided? And critically, how do these limitations and alternative interpretations actually affect the final conclusions you can draw? When you start confidently writing about alternative interpretations, you instantly signal to the examiner that you aren't just reciting facts. You are engaging in profound, high-level critical thinking.
Let's look at how this critical analysis applies to direct problem solving within the passages. Think of it like a visual workshop. You should view it as a 3-part engine: deconstruct, solve systematically, evaluate, and recommend. First, do a rapid question scan. Identify the given information and break the complex problem down into logical, bite-sized pieces. Then you solve it systematically, making absolutely sure to show you're working out so you secure those method marks. Finally, check your answer. Is it reasonable within the strict context of the passage? Make justified recommendations based on that. Every single recommendation you make must be solidly anchored by the evidence you just deconstructed.
Finally, let's jump into Section 4, Top Examiner Warnings, Pitfalls to Avoid.
Okay, strategy check. We have talked extensively about what to do, but now we must look at what you absolutely cannot do. Consider this a massive flashing examiner alert. Before we unlock these final traps to help you crush your upcoming sessions, make sure your revision feed is perfectly optimized. Take a second right now to subscribe to AC Exams and enable all notifications so you never miss our weekly Cambridge exam breakdowns, whether you're sitting for IGCSE, O-levels, or AS and A-levels. All right, back to the alert. When grading across different exam series, examiners see the exact same frustrating patterns of failure year after year. Let me assure you, it is almost never a lack of intelligence or Arabic fluency that caps a student's grade. It is a lack of structural precision. You are leaving incredibly easy marks on the table because you aren't playing the game by Cambridge's strict formalized rules. After deeply analyzing the examiner reports, we can actually boil these specific pitfalls down to a very precise number. There are exactly 3 major mistakes that examiners see repeatedly in Paper 4, Section 1 submissions. If you can become hyper-aware of these today, right now, and actively eliminate these 3 errors from your writing routine, your overall score will experience an immediate and significant upgrade. Let's spot the examiner traps. Mistake number 1, forgetting proper format. Cambridge requires strict presentation conventions. You must use proper headings, appropriate paragraph formats, and correct Arabic terminology. Ignoring these bleeds your marks dry. Mistake number 2, ignoring presentation checks. This happens when a student, maybe like our hypothetical Sam, rushes to the end of a question to maximize their marks per minute, but skips verifying their results or ensuring their annotations are actually readable. Mistake number 3, and listen, this is perhaps the deadliest one of all,
writing generic answers that are not specific to the context given. Memorized textbook responses that don't directly reference the specific Arabic passage in front of you will earn you absolutely nothing.
Under the extreme ticking clock pressure of the exam room, it is incredibly easy to just blank and forget those strict rules. So here is a quick memory hack for your post-writing compliance audit. Create a mental checklist using the acronym FACT. Format, annotate, context, terminology. Before you lock in your final paragraph, run through FACT in your head. Do I have the right format? Did I clearly annotate my logical process? Is my answer tied strictly to the specific context of the passage? Am I using the correct Arabic terminology? It takes 2 seconds to do this audit, but it ensures total 100% examiner compliance. Your ultimate source of confidence walking into that exam room boils down to this single quote. Even if your final answer is completely wrong, method marks can save your grade. Do not be intimidated by a dense, complex Arabic text. Deconstruct it systematically. Show you're working clearly on the page. Follow the procedural framework. The entire Cambridge marking system is designed to reward your rigorous thinking process, not just a flawless final conclusion. You literally have the theoretical tools right now to dismantle any passage they put in front of you. Let's do a rapid-fire recap of the overarching strategy we've built out today. These are your 3 universal operational rules. Number 1. You must master and demonstrate all 3 cognitive domains on the mark meter: knowledge, analysis, and evaluation. Number 2. Always deploy the 5-step procedural framework, using your question scans and timing allocations to systematically process complex text without panicking. And number 3, run your post-writing compliance audit to avoid the top 3 formatting and context traps that examiners constantly warn about. I highly recommend that your immediate next step is to take this exact blueprint and apply it to a past paper question today. Which brings us to our final thought for this masterclass. The marks are literally sitting right there on the exam paper, just waiting for you to confidently claim them through clear logic, explicit structural formatting, and deep textual connection. So the only question left to ask yourself is, are you ready to show you're working, deconstruct these passages, and claim absolutely every method mark you deserve on your next Cambridge exam? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Don't forget to subscribe to Ace the Exams, click that notification bell for our weekly grade masterclasses, and drop a comment below sharing exactly which Cambridge subject and level you're preparing to conquer next. Stay focused and keep practicing.